Welcome to the JOYInc experience, where we explore real, raw, radically truthful, radically vulnerable conversations with ordinary but extraordinary people. All topics, no agendas. This is a baptism in the Logos.
Sounded awesome.
I have to give a shout out to Scott DePaolo from Altar Call, my coach and mentor, who challenged us on using the word transparent, because that's been one of our core values or philosophies here at JOYInc is radical truth, radical transparency, which I got from Ray Dalio. But he challenged me that transparency can be curated for, what you want to show people, whereas vulnerability is actually letting people see everything.
Yeah.
So I changed it from, real, raw, radically truthful, radically vulnerable instead of transparent. Little history of the evolution. See, when you saddle up joy, it will take you places that you could have never imagined. That's what I've learned.
Well, I would agree with that.
So on today's episode, Scott DePaolo. A little history on Scott for people who don't know Scott. I was going through one of the dark valleys of my life, and about 20 years ago, it was almost 20 years ago to this year.
Close to right now.
2006.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it would be, this year.
Would have been
20
about
years.
March.
But I've known you since the late 90s. I think it's probably the first time I met you when I was a kid, still probably teenager. But going through that dark valley, a mutual friend, shout out Sherilyn, sicked you on me for whatever reason. And here we are, 20 years later.
I've thanked her many times for that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Every once in a while I'll send her a message and say, hey, I'm going to see Clif. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, I could have gone off the deep end and been a loser too, so not accomplished anything with my life.
Yeah, it goes both ways sometimes.
Yeah, you take a gamble on somebody at their lowest point, you never know. I got lots of stories for that time in my life, but I think it'd be helpful for the guests for you to kind of just give a background on you and what your passions are in life, and to get the conversation going.
Yeah.
Where do you come from? You were a hippie once, so you can start with that. Scott the hippie.
Kind of was a hippie once. Tried to be a hippie longer than I made it, so I didn't make it very long. But I think if I had something that made me significant right now, it would be that I worked for 37 years for the Boy Scouts. That was just been a huge piece of my life. And before that, I wasn't anything, and that's what I grew into. So it was a pretty significant piece of that. I managed a horse ranch for them. And much of what I've been passionate about now came through and from my job running a horse ranch for the Boy Scouts, but then growing into really teaching teenage kids personal growth and leadership, different skills to be successful, whatever that might look like, and really, adding value to people, along with a mantra that I've used since I started into that process of becoming what I became, make a difference in the life of a boy. And it ended up becoming make a difference in people's lives.
Was that actually a Boy Scout mantra?
Yeah, it was that we used at a summer camp. My first year I worked at Camp Baldwin. There was some really high-powered kind of guys that had already kind of started to move into different type of mindset that really wasn't very available in the 80s. That was 84. So like the positive psychology movement really hadn't even gotten going yet. But these guys had both been involved in sports, football, college football, and they were running the camp, and they trained us into the mantra of make the difference in the life of a boy, stay pumped, and we used those two things all summer long that summer, and it seemed like we used them constantly. but it did align me with making a pivot from the direction I was going to really buying into that idea, hook, line, and sinker, that there is a difference we can make. And I was 18 years old. So,
did you make a difference?
Hope so. I made a difference. Try to make a difference every day, right?
Yeah.
It's not about making one difference. It's about making a constant difference.
Yeah. I like to call them the immeasurables.
Yeah.
Like there's just certain things you do because you know they're right and you know that they're making an impact, but there's no possible way you could measure it.
Yeah. Someday, wouldn't it be super cool if there was a little scoreboard that popped up? There won't be.
Yeah. Isn't that the crowns?
It would be awesome.
So that's the crowns when you get to heaven, right?
Yeah. Or the jewels in the crown, right?
Yeah.
What's
like
this
that.
one for?
I don't know.
I don't even remember doing that, Lord.
That's what's wild is like I've had to be more cognizant of the logos, which is why I built that into the intro to the podcast, is the power of the words that you use, right? That you think over your own life, that you talk over your own life, that you talk over your family, that you talk over other people. And we can jump into mistakes I've made at JOYInc here, but one of the big mistakes that I made is if you don't give yourself enough credibility or understand the power of your position, an attempt to diminish it actually hurts the people around you. And what I mean by that is like you try to stay like I'm not equal with everybody at JOYInc, but I tried to make it that way, right? And it sounds a bit, egotistical or hubris or whatever to say that, but the truth of the matter is that we're all somewhere on our journey and where we're at in life, and like I wasn't giving enough. I was trying to be something to younger guys that they didn't need. They needed somebody who could speak life over them, right? It's like joking around with them or trying to keep the relationship equal or whatever. But I'm 46, halfway to 92, and I wasn't giving enough. I wasn't paying enough attention to how my words were affecting other people.
Yeah.
Thinking like, well, we're all equals.
Yeah.
And unless you understand, like we're not, because I've read 2,500 personal development books, business books, and philosophy books, and psychology books, and whatnot. And so it gives me because I have all that language to back me, it gives me an advantage over people, or an advantage to lift people, right? To bring value, to speak life over them, or to bring value to them. Yeah. And it's like you said, you don't always know the impact that you're making, but I'll get a phone call from a past employee or an email or something like that about something that I said or something that I did that made an impact on them, and I'll be like, dang. Yeah. I should pay more attention to this. It wasn't even, in some ways it's an encouragement or a pat on the back, but in other ways it's made me much more cognizant of what I'm saying to people. Just like you were talking about yesterday in your clinic. Scott's a horsemanship clinician. Look him up, Scott Horsemanship, or
Scott DePaolo.
Scott DePaolo horsemanship.com.
Yep.
It's horsemanship really blended with life coaching. Life advice, and you talked about self-talk. Mm-hmm. That's what Scott's working on that with me right now. Scott Dubois is working on that with me right now. Like, his challenge question to me for our next coaching session was, what have you not forgiven yourself for?
That's pretty deep.
Because, and Carrie's, we just went really deep. Shit.
We just got started.
Carrie's been frustrated and exacerbated or perplexed at when I get angry, and it usually comes out in, it's not a righteous anger, comes out in unhealthy ways. And I think a lot of that is from my own unforgiveness of myself. It's a self-deprecating anger that I just externalize and take out on other people.
Yeah. Do you think everybody knows who Carrie is? Maybe.
Carrie is, my wife.
Carrie's wife. Yeah.
Carrie is my wife of 16 years.
Is that how long?
I found her on homeschoolwives.com, which, by the way, this episode is sponsored by homeschoolwives.com. You might think I'm joking, but you should go to the website and check it out.
Yeah. Especially if you're raising sons and you want to
That's right.
raise them up right.
That's right.
Look for the right kind of gal.
Found her on homeschoolwives.com. I checked every box except for obedience. She's beautiful inside and out. She's faithful, diligent. She's a big support, but she is not obedient. So
hey,
can't have everything, men.
What is the definition of logos?
Logos?
Yeah.
It's in the beginning was the Word, and Word was with God, and Word was God. So most of the time when the Bible is using the word, like when people use the phrase Word of God, it's not actually referencing the Bible. It's referencing the Logos, which is the same when it says God spoke and there was light.
Yeah.
It's the creative power of words.
Right.
So if we speak life or death by the words that we use. So a baptism in the Logos is you and I sitting in here in meaningful conversation, being baptized in the words that we're using, right?
Using truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, the word of
and
truth.
If we're using words of life, if we're using words of positivity, if we're using words of optimism, if we're using words of joy, then we're casting that, spell over our lives.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
That's why they call it spelling.
Yeah. Well,
I'm serious. Like, we use these words like, oh, how do you spell that word? And it's like, why do they call it spelling? It's kind of a weird word. It's the same thing as like casting a spell. And it's like, no, it's like you do. Like the words you use cast a spell over your life, good or bad, light or dark, positive or negative, good or evil.
Yeah. I think it's pretty amazing that we can speak life into people individually that they may never get anywhere else. Just an encouraging word.
Yeah.
Or really those people you love the most, never, ever speaking negatively over them.
Yeah.
But always seeing how do you lift them up? How do you give them a little more? How do you add value to them?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what came to mind when you were talking about a bit ago about all that, is just how powerful that is.
Yeah.
I remember one time I called my mom for the first time and the only time, the old lady. And my dad, he'd come after me. And he didn't very often have to man up with me, but he did that time. And I never did call her the old lady again. I still don't even think of that anymore.
If you get too far away from the mic, it cuts out.
I'll jump up here close. Or closer.
Yeah, just closer. It's still a work in progress, folks. Give us some grace. Episode 00002.
Yeah.
So.
Wait till you get to a couple hundred.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We have one scheduled for tomorrow, actually.
You do have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who's coming up tomorrow?
It's somebody that just heard about us and another business guy locally here that's looking to have a meaningful conversation.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Just an ordinary but extraordinary person.
Ah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. It's a little bit, that's why we decided to do this is like we were having, if you sat in this room and listened to the conversations I've had over the last 8 years, like here's an advice to business owners. Don't interview people. Learn to coach, add value, and invite people in for life coaching conversations. Invite them in for a meaningful conversation, and you'll really get to know people.
Yeah.
And even if you don't hire them, you got half hour, an hour, sometimes hour and a half, a meaningful conversation with another human being.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm.
I have people that I interviewed that we either didn't offer a job to, or we offered a job and they decided to go somewhere else or whatever, that still reach out and thank me for the interview because it changed the way they think about the world. That's when I started thinking about, like, we're onto something here with this whole joy thing.
Yeah.
And it's not like patting myself on the back. I really do give credit. Like Doug asked me this morning in episode 1, he said, tell me, like, why you started doing all this stuff and where's this coming from? Because I say, we launched Joy on this question, what would business look like if we did business in pursuit of joy instead of money? And he's like, where does that come from? And I said, honestly, I have to, where I'm at right now, it's like the Spirit of God is manifest as joy, right? And I think it's the power of the Logos invited, through the Spirit of joy, invited into those conversations with people. Mm-hmm. And like, it's not my genius. It's not, I'm just being faithful to study and practice the art of joy is our primary philosophy. I've studied and I've practiced the art of joy. I'm not perfect at it and I don't know everything. I think there's an infinite amount to know and experience, and just being faithful to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this conversation. I'm like zero stress. Because I know that it's up to the Spirit of joy if it wants something meaningful to happen.
Was this the exact office where you did all that? Or was it just in this building?
This was like a fishbowl. It had like a huge picture window here and there, so everybody walking through the office could see into here, but we had a couch there, and I had like a chair sitting over here. And it was like decorated like the rest of this office here.
A little bit of a lounge room then.
Yeah, it was kind of just a couch. Yeah, we'd sit on a couch and
open meeting room or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
Sometimes we'd have 2 or 3, 4 people in there. So, and that's the plan here, is we can have a couple people sit at this side of the table. There's enough. We can have 4 mics going, stuff like that. So it's a little bit tight of a space, but that's why we're sitting across the table like this.
Yeah.
Is it too far? Is it awkward?
No. I think I've been seeing, I don't know, some of the guys sitting way across from each other lately.
Yeah.
So on their little podcasts that they're running everywhere. Do you listen to podcasts a lot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do too.
I got Joe Rogan right here on my laptop.
And I see you got yourself a little podcast piece on there.
Oh yeah, I got a sticker for you after we're done here.
Yeah, awesome.
So,
well,
one of the questions I wanted to bring up, because I think it's worth exploring, and something you said a while back when we were talking. So Scott and I have had a lot of meaningful conversations and really tough conversations, and but I think you were probably one of the best people for Sherilyn to sick on me, because you're I use the term delusionally optimistic. What did your brother-in-law say? Or
oh, that was my brother-in-law. It was my brother.
Oh, your brother.
I have toxic positivity.
Yeah, toxic positivity. So, folks, I don't know. Maybe you should put that into ChatGPT and see what comes back. But
you'll find something, I'm sure.
Do you think there's any truth to that?
Yeah, I think probably so. Now that I kind of know what toxic positivity is, because
do you know, he explained, like he gave you a working definition?
Oh, yeah, but then I looked it up afterwards, too.
Is it a thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a condition people have. Because I can portray my positivity on you in such a toxic way that you might start to feel like I'm, belittling you for being negative, and that my positivity is unrealistic.
So is it like positivity without social awareness?
Could be positivity without social awareness, I'm sure. I researched it. I mean, this has been probably, that little dip in my life was about 5-6 years ago. It was before COVID, I think, even, when that part of, when I was crowned toxic positivityist.
Do you think Norman Vincent Peale had toxic positivity?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. he definitely was one of those kind of nut jobs. Yeah.
You're in the nut job category.
Norman
Perfect.
Vincent Peale. I'll just tell you, I told you what I told him when he told me that, and was, if I had a choice between being negative and positive, I'm going to take positive every time.
Yeah.
Positive mind. I told everybody yesterday, I don't know, I used a quote I very rarely ever use, but I love it. It says, what is it? Positivity doesn't work all the time, but it works a lot more often than negativity.
Yeah, for sure.
And isn't that true? And
if you're looking for a good book on positivity, Norman Vincent Peale wrote a number of good books. There's one, The Treasury of Joy and Enthusiasm, and The Power of Positive Thinking are both on the bookshelf over here. There's also a couple more. What's that? Have a great day every day.
what year?
Look for the good.
What year was he writing those? I mean, that's prior to John Maxwell, because John Maxwell talks about reading that. Like, that was the first book he read as a little kid. His dad had him read Norman Vincent Peale. Norman Vincent Peale
1952.
I was going to guess he was alive in the 50s.
Mm-hmm. This is probably his most famous work, is The Power of Positive Thinking.
I like all those old books. Even older than that, an older book than that that's a great book that's about positivity is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
Dale Carnegie.
Yep.
Yeah. And then As a Man Thinketh by James Allen was in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Not even the 1900s.
I've got we've got that in here. I had a whole case of them, and I would give them out to people that would come in for life coaching conversations, interviews, and especially if I wasn't going to hire them, I'd give them a book.
Go work on this a while and come back, kid.
Yeah, go read this.
Which one of those books were you giving out?
As a Man Thinketh.
Oh, yeah.
It's so short.
Yeah.
And just so pivotal, so foundational to, people don't realize how much their thoughts are influencing their life.
Every part of it. That's a crazy thing.
I don't realize how much my thoughts are influencing my life.
Well, we forget. I mean, our human nature doesn't let us remember those things. Like, it'd be nice if we did. But yeah, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
That book's on YouTube. You don't have to buy it. If anybody thinks, oh, we ought to listen to what these guys are talking about, you just go to YouTube. It's 57 minutes long. You can listen to it on a little drive somewhere.
Yep. Nobody has an excuse. There's so much good stuff for free on different platforms. Spotify has a bunch of free books. YouTube has a bunch of free books. Jim Rohn's The 5 Major Pieces to Life's Puzzle. I found the original cassette tape. It's up on the top shelf up there. It's a cassette tape series called The Challenge to Succeed in the 90s, and one of the cassette tapes is The 5 Major Pieces to Life's Puzzle that got me started on this.
Huh, that's cool.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Good library here. You'd mentioned you had everything in alphabetical order, but what are they alphabetical ties to? Because it doesn't look very
Last name of the author.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the A's and B's. C's here. D's and F's. DEF's over here. Yep. Good stuff. What are you reading right now?
Oh, I'm right now reading Entrepreneur Roller Coaster is one of the books I'm reading. That's Darren Hardy. And I've read it before, but I'm building business right now, and I wanted to get back by and read it so I didn't build something wrong and have to go back and rebuild it. So that's what I'm really focusing on. It's a great book. My brother transformed his whole business mindset after reading that book.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Changed the way that he was doing everything.
I haven't read it.
It's good. It's a little bit of stories in it and this and that, and you can get through it pretty easy.
Yeah.
But it's got a bunch of really good principles in it.
is as good as the compound effect?
The compound effect is awesome.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's Darren Hardy too.
Darren Hardy also, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it'd be considered better than. Darren's just great. You know, he wrote Success Magazine for years and years and years, and I think he talks about in Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, he was like massively successful as a 19-year-old by using these principles that he had put in place. That, I mean, he stumbled onto him like we all do, but he just got him a little sooner than we did.
Yeah. What's the entrepreneurial goal?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, it's to add value to people. That's what, the more people guy can get around, the more value you can add. I mean, running a business, doing it, and keeping track of that. But my entrepreneurial goal right now is to really grow into being a great horsemanship clinician. Now that I don't even want to care about competing with the guys that are out there that are really great, because there's a lot of folks that need horsemanship. There's a lot of guys teaching horsemanship, but I would like to be I'd like to be able to add value to, I don't know, a couple thousand people a year would be cool. Add significant value, the kind of significant value that multiplies or compounds. When people leave the clinic or the workshop or maybe even the lecture that I'm doing, when they go out into the world, it looks like a massive fan that just fans out. That'd be pretty cool.
That's a good vision.
Yeah.
Did you sketch that in your journal?
Don't got very many sketches in my journal yet.
Like Peter this weekend, he was sketching in his notes.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He took pages and pages and pages of notes.
I know, that's super cool. You want to know something else? And I jump into something, but when I saw Peter last night when we were visiting, he was getting ready to go. His wife was in the clinic, and she had a great clinic and really stepped out of her comfort zone to be there. And then Peter came. And the last thing that I do at the clinic is teach a little principle of looking for the good. And I call it LFTG. And I noticed when he came down and was talking to me, I looked down at his hand, and he had written LFTG on his hand.
That's awesome.
Now, I'm not going to bet that he was 70 years old, but he has to be somewhere between 70 and 85 years old, I would guess. He might look older than he is. He might look way younger than he is. I don't know. But he's a very mature man.
Sure.
And to think that, and it would just made me really proud that a guy that old that knows as much as he knows, that's done as much as he's done, because he's been all over the world, literally all over the world.
I don't know his story, but
Oh, it's awesome. Wait till you get that story.
Should I have him on the podcast?
Yeah, probably so. He would be really interesting to have on here. I'll tell you one thing that he did, that he worked in Antarctica.
What?
Yeah, he was stationed down there. He was responsible for getting all of the scientists' gear there and organized in such a way that when a scientific group showed up, he could unload a container box and their gear would be right there. He said he couldn't, because it was so cold down there, they couldn't unload all this stuff and put their stuff over here and then load everything back in. They had to set it up in the States. They'd put all their gear in layers so they could just unload the next scientific group that came, group of guys that came to do studies. So that's one thing. But he also grew up in New Zealand on a big farm, sheep and all sorts of stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But even guys from New Zealand, even guys that have been to Antarctica, need LFTG.
Yeah.
Look for the good.
When did that start for you? In your toxic positivity stage?
It actually, it started, there's multiple little pieces to that thing because you grow into everything. I'd tell you that it started probably when I was in my early 30s, I would guess. And it started because I was looking for something I could teach kids when I was with them for one time that if they used it would work every time, so they could trust me that the other stuff would teach them would be true. Now I do it opposite of that. Now I teach people all about horsemanship, and I say, listen, if you believe all that stuff that I taught you and you had success with your horse, listen to this, because this will change your life. But teenagers won't listen that long. And I was working with a lot of them, and I wanted to add value to them. And, when you talk about adding value, if you look for the good in anything, from your dog, your truck, your business, your family, the people you love, it never fails. You always will find it. And so it was pretty good bang for the buck. So I found that. The other little hidden piece of it that is super cool, it says in the word that none are good except God. So if you look for the good, the thing you do find, everything else is sieved out except God. That's pretty powerful when you think about it. I had an old pastor once, really influential pastor in my life, that said, all good things will be in heaven with us. Okay. So, anyways.
It's like in Romans, where it talks about his evidence is, evident throughout all creation. So if you're looking for it
in nature.
Yeah, in nature.
Yeah. Pretty awesome. A lot of people go to nature to, they tell us all the time, all the cowboy guys we hang out with, a lot of guys will say, I don't need to go to church. I got my church right here. I can find my God every day. He's right here. And that's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we did Easter morning. I took a bunch of the students out for a ride at the ranch. Enjoyed the morning and conversation and good horses.
Did you do breakfast too?
Carrie stayed back with Abe and breakfast.
Made a big breakfast?
It wasn't big.
Oh.
It was breakfast.
Yeah.
Potatoes and eggs.
Good stuff.
Fried up some bacon when we got back. Yep. How was your lessons this morning?
Good. Really good. Yeah. I had a great time.
Did Ellie ride Doc?
Ellie rode Esther's little horse.
Oh, Rita.
So, is that what her name is?
Yeah.
That little horse did really good. And they both Ellie and Carrie told me this horse isn't always so good. But that horse did fantastic. But I think Carrie's been riding her a lot. I asked her. And
I don't think about it a lot, but she has been getting on her.
Trained on her a little bit. Yeah.
Will's been pretty consistent about coming out and getting on her too.
Oh yeah, they're getting. Yeah. Well, that horse did really good today. I was really pretty impressed with her. Really good and quiet, and that kid's quiet, man.
Yeah.
That kid rubs off on a horse, and the horse stand there and fall asleep.
Yeah. No, trust me, we've been working on her being more assertive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
you got to train that into some folks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the masculine, right? Is the proactive, the assertive, the, go get it done, sort of thing. And, I think we misread it a lot of times. It can come across as like laziness or something like that, when I think a lot of times just they haven't been in a scenario where they needed to be, life's pretty easy for kids.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about something similar to that the other day, that I was thinking about it again today, that thing that, we might be passionate about all this kind of stuff and have a growth mindset on this, but then then you think maybe some guy that doesn't do very much of any of this doesn't have the same growth mindset, but that guy might be some sort of truck builder, or there's some super cool motorcycles now they're building out of old motorcycles and rebuilding them so they're better than brand new.
Yeah.
And those guys are passionate. Those guys got a growth mindset. Those guys kind of know, this is a 1979 XR 500. and I'm going to do this, this, and this to it. I mean, they'd blow us away probably visiting with them. You know,
Yeah.
they're passionate and they're artists and
Yeah.
they're building motorcycles or building trucks or, you know, doing landscaping.
Yeah. I equate, I mean, you can tell me your own perspective on this, but I loved your all things good come from God, and you tell people look for the good. And I run everything through the joy filter in my mind now, and the joy filter is that joy-colored glasses, you know. So would you say that look for the good is like rose-colored glasses?
No. I don't think I would. I'll
No?
think about that a little bit. But no, I don't know that it is looking like rose-colored glasses. Maybe a little bit, but you know what? There's a difference between being positive, being negative, and being an optimist. I think it's a little bit more about being an optimist instead of just always positive. That's what people think sometimes. And you know, I tell that story about we coming back from roping, and it was and we had a great day with a bunch of Wrangler kids, and we were coming home, and we were all in the truck, and we had the trailer load of horses behind us, and when we got going along the way, it was starting to get late, and we started noticing that the sun was setting. It was going to be a gorgeous sunset on the Coast Range, and we were going to be able to see it all. And as it got prettier and prettier and prettier, and it got right to the end where I thought it would be the best, we pulled off to the side of the road. When we pulled off to the side of the road, we sat there and watched the whole thing. We talked about it, and we just had a great little visit with these kids. And it was, you talk about intimate, vulnerable, you know, true. I mean, it was a really great moment. And then when we got ready to leave, I looked down, and we'd parked right in front of this junkiest, old, awfulest looking house you'd ever want. I mean, unpainted, dogs tied to trees, sofas in the front yard, litter everywhere. I mean, we'd parked right in front of this awful, gross place, and we didn't even notice it when we were looking at the sunset. We had overlooked that bad thing, and we'd seen just that gorgeous sunset. Well, that wasn't rose-colored glasses. That was the fact that we were looking for one thing, and it wasn't that thing.
Right.
And so, I don't know. I mean, you can't probably. I mean, I'm a joy advocate. I've been bought into your joy thing since day one. I mean, I'm even on the joy team.
Yeah, you are.
So, got a joy shirt, got a joy hat,
Joy underwear.
got joy underwear. And, you know, yeah, I don't know. It's not always there. You got to work at it a little bit. There's some work that goes into finding joy.
Yeah. Being infected by toxic positivity, or delusional optimism, is there a place for realism or pessimism?
Well, I started as probably way more than I wished I would have been. Maybe
a pessimist?
Not a pessimist, I don't think, but I think I was probably what I would call just about like everybody else, pretty realistic in the fact that life can be pretty suck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got some suck things in my life. Truthfully, I got some suck things in my life that are more than what most people could handle.
Yeah.
But the only way I've been able to get through some of those suck things is to
looking for the good.
Look for the good. And truthfully, it works every time I do it.
Mm.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's a complicated little thing when we get to talking about it. And it's maybe a little different for a lot of folks, but yeah.
Mm. How do you think what was that process like going from being, you know, a normal person where there was some realism and pessimism and, you know, negativity and stuff like that? What made the difference? When did you first come up with this whole look for the good thing? What year was it?
Well, it came up when I wanted to teach kids some of that kind of stuff, was truthfully. But it also came up when I get to the same point that many guys get to where marriage ain't working out, and you want that kind of thing to work beyond all other things because there's too much to lose. And it doesn't necessarily even mean when there's too much to lose that you couldn't lose the wife, but you're going to lose everything else too.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose the kids, and you're going to lose, half of everything you've worked for, which could put you so far back you could never get to the place you were supposed to live in your purpose. And I've always felt like that. I've always known that there's a way that you could get paper cutted or even chopped in half to where you could never live the purpose that God intended for you. And
that's a pessimistic view.
That's a pessimistic view?
Given the wrong circumstances, you'd never be able to recover.
Well, I learned that in my marriage relationship, that if I was going to look for bad, I would have never made it.
Yeah.
And I chose to number one, I chose to stick it out no matter what. And when I chose to do that no matter what, I had to find a way to make it bearable. And the way that I chose to make it bearable was to learn how to see the good in every situation.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't always think of that. I mean, I teach that because I know it works really good. And I want to add that value to other people, but I don't always see the good in everything. I mean, I don't. I mean,
you wrestle with your negative thoughts too.
Just like everybody else, like all the time, I think.
I don't.
You don't.
I'm delusionally optimistic about my own thoughts. So.
I think that might be part of your next coaching session. Yeah. I don't know. I did another podcast not too long ago, and we just touched on a little thing, and I mentioned in that podcast, I said there was a point in time where I had to make a choice. I was either going to choose to step up or step out.
Yeah. I
chose to step up, and I don't know how even I got my son to listen to that podcast, but he called me. He said, "Dad, I listened to that." So I took that to my men's group, and I let them listen to it.
Yeah.
So,
how many times in a man's life do you think they come to that crossroads where they've got to step up or step out?
Good question. I guess if you're in the fight, right? Maybe more than daily, right? I guess if you're not in the fight, you could probably let it wash over you, You think about.
Well, isn't that choosing to step out then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not being in the fight. Not being in the fight means that you've already made the decision to step out.
Yeah.
It's like stepping out of the ring.
I don't know. I mean, really, I say that all the time. I don't know how many people really understand the significance of stepping out of the boat and stepping up to the next level. But when I do that, I always think, and I always have, and I've told that to tons of people, because I had worked with hundreds and hundreds of teenage kids that I had a significant role with, to work with. And I used it multiple times this weekend, telling people, step out and step up.
Yep.
And I always think about Peter stepping out of the boat and to walk on water. If he would have never stepped out, he sunk, right? We all sink sometimes. But he did walk before he sunk.
Yeah.
And if he would, none of those other guys stepped out of the boat.
Yep.
And maybe Peter walked on water again. Who knows? Maybe they just didn't write it down again.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, this is episode 2. Episode 1 was this morning, and it's like, who am I to? Does the world need another podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And is there already enough noise? And it was just this nagging calling to. It's like our vision is to inspire the world with joy, and if you're successful in your mission, you accomplish your vision, and the vision is to have you and me and our people, our families, our communities, our nation, and the world overflowing with joy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Probably not going to do that, one construction project at a time, and we were having, even though this is episode 2, we've had 8 years of meaningful conversations with lots of people, and so it just felt like this is the way we can push a button and it's accessible to everybody. I think it's a message that people need to hear. You know, there's so much negativity in the world. There's so much division in the world. There's so much anti-joy, right? Jaded.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say jaded is the opposite of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good word. Don't speak that word over your life.
Well, every one of those 8-year conversations or things that were in here was a stepping stone to this day right here. This is day 1.
Yeah.
Dude.
And it's like, I'm not the best at this. I don't know what I'm doing, right? But I would never know if I didn't do it, right? Yeah. And a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, episode 2000 or whatever, it's like we'll be much better at it.
Absolutely.
Right.
You don't have to be great to start, but you got to start to be great.
Yeah.
On Friday morning, I was getting ready to come up here to do this clinic, and I haven't done this like significantly professional for years, but I've been doing clinics for years and years, really. Been getting out, taking my vacation, teaching people horsemanship, and considering myself a type of what they call clinician. So, but that was not the same as this one. This one was different. This clinic was different. It was at a remote site that I had to travel to, and this and that. And man, I tell you what, I got that imposter syndrome. In the morning, I woke up and I just wanted to pull the pillow over my head and not. I had this fear come over me. The very same thing you're talking about. Who am I?
Just this Friday?
Just last Friday. Yeah. I've been teaching this stuff for years. And I thought, who am I to think that these people need, are desiring something that I got that'll transform their horsemanship and their lifemanship?
That's why you were name dropping people to try to make yourself sound more credible.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think that you had a really good point about that yesterday. And the point that I got from when you said, Scott, you name drop a lot. And I do. I name drop. If we're talking about great books to read or we're talking about great people, I'm going to name drop because there's some significance in some of that. But what you were saying was so true in the fact that the people that come, they want to come to see you, not some guy that you're telling them that's like you, because they can't go out. Mm-hmm. There's guys that are gone now. Mm-hmm. If I name drop, they can't go get that guy's knowledge. But I did not get raised up to be anything like any of those guys because I'm a blend of all of those guys.
Yep. The
things that I say, none of those guys are going to say the same way I would. Yeah. And they don't have the same like passion, different passion, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe a really significant passion, even maybe more passion than I have on some stuff. But I really have a passion to add value to people, help people be their best, see their best.
Yeah. Do you think that's a fairly unique approach to horsemanship clinics? So the folks that are watching, we have Joy Equine is Carrie and I's residence and our love language to the world, our philanthropic equine adventures. It's a nice way to say we lose money on our horses. A facility in Port Orchard, Washington. You can go to joyequine.com. But Scott came up and did a horsemanship clinic over the weekend. But you have a unique blend of horsemanship and I would say philosophy, psychology, life coaching, all of those things. How unique do you think that is in the horsemanship clinic world, and how critical do you think it is?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the guys that I know that are out teaching it care a lot. Mm-hmm. There's some about people usually. Most of them do. There was a time in the horsemanship world where you would hear oftentimes, "I don't care about you. I only care about your horse." That was a common thing.
I've heard some well-known clinicians say that.
Yeah. Yeah, and they like to say it. Makes them feel really proud of themselves.
They're there for the horse.
Yeah. That's never made me feel proud. And it's always made me wonder how the heck they thought they were ever going to touch more than the next horse that way. Because I've always felt like if I could help people to have that, if I could care about the people, and then I could help those people, then they could help every horse they come in contact with.
Yeah.
And that's what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to add value to the people so that the people then could go out and add the value out. So I think some of what I'm doing is pretty, there's people that are on different sides of this, some of what I'm doing is unique, but I hang out with people that are not out teaching clinics, that think very similar to I do in the equine therapy world.
Sure.
And they're very passionate about that. There's a lot of folks that do therapy. I don't really know how many folks are really out there doing what would be considered right now life coaching with horses as a bond, as a middle thing, but really focusing on how do I help you be successful with your horse so you go home and use a kind word to encourage your husband.
Right.
Or, how do you realize in a moment's time never to run your kid down just because you had a bad day again? How do I do that?
Emotionally unload on your children.
I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen, we all have heard people do that. I would like to be able to help people through their passion with horses to learn that they can live a whole different life, a life of encouragement.
Yeah.
So. But there's other folks out there doing pretty super cool stuff.
From memory, can you rattle off your the core tenets or values or philosophies of Scott DePaolo horsemanship? Because you say to add value to people. What are your guiding principles?
Oh,
look for the good.
Look for the good is a really good one. I don't know about that. I don't know how to tell you. Don't know that I've ever written them down. If you're remembering something I wrote down. Some of the things that I talk about.
I'm not. I'm just shooting from the hip.
You are? Okay. Well, some of the horsemanship principles that I use, that I try to instill that work for horses, work very well also as leaders, as people that, that are, adding value. One of them that I use is recognize the smallest change and reward the slightest try. Mm-hmm. Meaning that, you're going to do way better if those loved ones in your life, if you see what they're doing and you acknowledge that as something positive versus telling them negative. I was telling a story just the other day about, a time in my life when I'd done some stuff and I just stepped out of my comfort zone. And I was really at, I don't know even, I was at a family gathering and everybody was having a fantastic time. So I went in and did the dishes. No big deal. I would have done them. But one of the folks that was there saw the way I was doing the dishes and told me how I put the forks in the wrong spot and the knives had to be different. Well, that wasn't very encouraging. I didn't do the dishes over there too many more times.
Yeah.
Didn't need to be said. Oftentimes we say things that don't need to be said. But she could have said, hey, thanks a lot for doing the dishes. I really appreciate that. You think I would have been apt to do the dishes again? Yeah. Absolutely. Recognize the smallest change and reward the slightest try. So that's one. Make the right thing easy and the wrong thing difficult. Really good one.
Doesn't life have a way of doing that on its own?
It does. Sometimes more than others.
It's amazing how many people run into a brick wall of the wrong thing, wrong decision, wrong thinking, and they just get back up and keep running into the same wall.
Do the same wrong thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they, blame it on this and blame it on that and externalize it. I'm looking at Donald Miller's Hero on a Mission, right? You can be the victim, you can be the hero, you can be the villain, or you can be the guide.
Donald Miller, boy, he's grown a ton.
Yeah,
Talk about
I got the
growth.
whole collection there from starting with Blue Like Jazz all the way through to his business stuff, Business
Yeah.
Made Simple, and Story Brand, and Marketing Made Simple, and yeah, what a crazy journey to follow, especially starting in 2004 when Blue Like Jazz came out, and like the Christian memoirs, and then him getting into like story, and then taking that story and building out his whole business brand.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, we read every one of those books together. If you
Yeah.
remember when you talked about when we first met, and I'm like, and you'd tell me what you were reading, and I'd want to check and see where you were at, and I'd read these books.
It was research.
It was research and development. And Donald Miller, I think if I'm correct on him, he went to college at Portland State University.
No, he went to Reed.
Reed, yeah, and it was a real whack job kind of college.
That's the story of Blue Like Jazz that they made the movie about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, I mean, he pops up on my feed all the time because he is a business consultant, and he wrote the Story Brand book and teaches story as a asset for a business, and how you tell your story. And
I actually looked into having him come out to speak, and he's expensive, so but they said we have a pre-recorded keynote that we will send you if you buy 50 of his Business Made Simple books for all of your people or whatever. So I did that and bought Business Made Simple and put it out on, gave it to all the employees, and then we showed that pre-recorded keynote, which is cool.
Yeah. How's Business Made Simple? Is it good?
It is good. Yeah, if you're just looking for like breaking business down into all the parts, he uses like an airplane analogy and says like these are the different parts of your business, and you have to have all the parts for it to take off and actually fly.
Do you recall how many parts are in that airplane?
No, but there's all sorts of like resources and PDFs and stuff like that. It's all in my business coaching folder. If I can send it to you if you want to see it.
Yeah. I might.
I'm a picture guy. I don't read words very good. So. Homeschooled. Yeah. I'm reading Cherished right now. I was thinking about that when you were talking. Looking for the good. We'll have to title this. We talked a lot about looking for the good. We'll have to title this podcast episode "Look for the Good." LFTG.
Yeah. Well, cherished is a super cool word. I'll be reading that book with you soon.
Mm-hmm. And that's what looking for the good is. If you don't look for the good in your spouse, you're not going to cherish them. If you're looking for the bad or the negative, or she put the dishes away wrong, or that's what when you're talking about putting the knives and forks away in the wrong spot, right? That was less important than the appreciation or the cherishing that somebody could have shown you in that circumstance.
Yeah. That's true. And that, how many marriages could be like transformed if that simple little word got implemented by both parties?
Mm-hmm.
It could change the world.
Do you remember more sarcastic, Cliff?
Yesterday?
Don't say that.
Okay, it was a couple days ago. Yes, of course I remember sarcastic, Cliff.
Do I still see me as a sarcastic person?
No, not at all. That's a real testimony. I mean, I'm sure you can be. Actually, maybe I might have seen, what did you say to Carrie the other day?
Those are the easiest scenarios, and I justify my sarcasm now by saying it's not sarcasm, because sarcasm is a pretty violent word. Actually, it means like tearing flesh or something. It's like meant to hurt, and so I say satire, which is like using humor to convey a truth, and the difference is like one is intended to hurt somebody else, and satire is just intended to convey the truth. And if the truth offends somebody, then whatever. But that's why like the Babylon Bee is a lot of satire. It's not sarcasm. So I was having the conversation with Wes Tracy about this actually, because he's very quick-witted and humorous. Him and I are similar in that way. And so I said, dude, don't let people call you sarcastic. It's satire. Like you're just conveying truths to people. When it's used in a way to get a jab in or something like that, that's sarcasm.
That's how you can still use it.
Me?
Yeah, if you wanted to.
Oh, I still do. Yeah.
I am.
What the hardest part of being a recovering sarcastic is wanting to say something sincere to somebody or encouraging or an apology and they hear like my voice is a trigger for their sarcasm radar and they can't
Can't hear it anymore.
They can't hear me.
Yeah, yeah.
So you program people in your life. And I can think of a number of people in my past that it'd be really hard to overcome, right? Especially people who shut you out and don't continue in relationship with you because you're freeze framed in whatever period of life that they knew you in, and that's just who they think you are.
Yeah, yeah. I don't use that satire. I always say, "Oh, that's the old Scott."
Yeah,
and I do. Once in a while, the old Scott comes out, and oh, darn it, that's the old Scott.
Yeah,
make light of it a little bit. Come across,
or just looking for an out. When it gets too heavy or conversation goes too deep, or you should say something meaningful or sincere, encouraging, or something like that, and you say some flippant comment instead or something. Yeah. It's emotional weakness. Every one of those is an opportunity to go to the emotional gym.
Yeah, I step up and step out. It's a way to do that, isn't it? It's not all about doing hard things that are like out in the world. Sometimes it's about doing hard things that are right inside of you.
Yeah. I think it's almost always trying to do the hard things inside.
Yeah, you know that a lot of guys will say, like we were talking about something the other day, somebody was saying that you get to a certain level and it's 90% mental, But I kind of think it's always 90% mental. Because it doesn't matter what level you're at your best level.
Yeah.
That moment, you could be at a new level, like the best representation of yourself moment to moment to moment. That's what we all have. And some of us choose to, sit on a couch and eat Cheetos all day. And some of us choose to step up and step out.
This episode is sponsored by
Cheetos.
No, we don't recommend that, folks. Seed oils, corn, artificial food colorings. God bless RFK.
They light Cheetos, just saying. You ever tried to light Cheetos?
On fire?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw on a survival show or something, there was a gal that was lighting fire or using Fritos as like fire tinder.
Yeah. Get it. And that's what my buddy used to carry him in his elk hunting pack so he could have a little thing to light a fire. He'd open them up, light the Cheetos, throw everything on top.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And we eat them.
I suppose there's a few things we eat that are flammable. Dried kale would burn.
If it's dried, but it doesn't have the oils in it to make it explode.
It's true.
It's just a tinder.
We could do seed oil infested kale chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Papa Clif's kale. Organically grown, dehydrated at low temperatures.
Will you grow any this year?
We have I should bring in a couple jars just for a conversation piece. I think we have probably 8,000 servings of kale right now.
All ground up, waiting to go.
Powdered. Yeah, it's the finest. Yeah. High quality kale.
They've been the hit for years anywhere we camp. Jordan Valley or
Well, I went from making green rollies for the kids every morning for 5 kids to I hardly ever make them anymore, and so I just don't use it as much.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing as much breads and pizza crust and all that kind of stuff. So,
did you ever try like cream of kale soup?
I've tried to add it to a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have added it to. So, for those of you watching who don't know, green rollies are just crepes with kale powder added to it.
They still have wheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Italian flour, so no
European.
no glyphosate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you ever want, come on over for some green rollies. Good stuff.
With bacon, they're best with bacon.
You can have savory, you can have sweet, you can have savory and sweet together. Yeah, my favorite I think is just butter, nothing else on them. But yeah, there's a full serving of kale in every crepe. You know, quarter teaspoon. It's a very small amount of powdered kale is the equivalent to a full cup of fresh chopped kale.
Really?
Yeah. So a full serving of kale is like, after it's been dried and powdered, is about a quarter teaspoon. Huh. That's why I can say like all those quart jars we have full of the powder. It's like thousands of servings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is too a big.
I did the math on it. Somebody fact check me. All you people dropping comments on my math. Yeah. I think we have 6 quarts of kale powder.
Green rollies.
Yep. Awesome. It's been a good conversation. I'm glad you came in.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad to be here for you.
We'll get to do 4 episodes this year, right? Because you're coming back 4 times.
You know, that will be awesome.
Yeah.
And if you have people that actually listen to this thing, they could send in a thing on what they might want us to talk about.
Yeah. So just a reminder, folks, ScottDePaoloHorsemanship.com. He's got a home ranch down in Molalla, Oregon, just south of Portland, and does clinics and training lessons. You can look him up, connect with him on Scott DePaolo Horsemanship Facebook page or the website. And this episode was sponsored by homeschoolwives.com. Don't get me wrong, folks. It is not a dating site. It is a arranged marriage site. And it's not what you're thinking, so go check it out and connect. So, awesome.
That's funny.
Appreciate you, friend. I appreciate your faithfulness, and I appreciate your being willing to speak truth. And a lot of times I think just ask questions. And I'm going to tell this story because it was on my heart when, shortly after you were first sicked on me. And you've heard this story before, but I want the folks to hear it. Is like I was in a pretty low point, and I had, really kind of shut a lot of people out of my life, and except for my kids. And it was a very emotional evening when my kids had left for the week, and it was an emotional transaction there when Malachi actually was sitting outside here, was, screaming and like clutching at me to stay with me, and they had to like pry him out of my arms and leave. And I walked out into the yard there and was screaming at God. I was using all the language available, all the logos available to tell God how I felt about going through that low moment. And it was, folks, this was like raining, dark, middle of winter, the Pacific Northwest, and 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, maybe it was there, I don't know. It was late. It was later than a friend should call people on the phone, and my phone pings in my pocket or rings in my pocket, and I pull it out, and Scott called me. He was like, "Hey, man, just call and check in." And he's like, "How you doing?" I was like, "I'm not effing okay." I don't know if you remember that, my answer. And I was just like, gosh, like, you can run from the good. You can run from joy. You can run from God. You can wrestle with him, but he's going to keep knocking on that door, right?
Pretty awesome story.
Yeah.
That was meaningful to me too, though. I knew that I'd stepped into something that was not of my own in that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just being obedient.
Yeah. Here's my challenge to you guys out there is like, are you being obedient? And like when you have that gut feeling, like think about this person, somebody puts it on your mind, 10 o'clock at night, that might be a good time to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Call them, ask them how they're doing. So, love you.
Love you too, man.
Awesome.